Question number 13. Consider the following statements about the World Bank. 1. Together, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, that is the IBRD, and International Finance Corporation, IFC, form the World Bank. 2. It works for sustainable solutions that reduce poverty and build shared prosperity in developing countries. 3. India is a member of all 5 international organizations of the World Bank Group. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 only, C, 1 and 3 only, and D, 3 only. So looking at this question, let's take the third statement, which has the absolute keyword directive, that is all present in it. So let's remove that statement. Once that is gone, you are left with options A and B, that is 1 and 2 only and 2 only. Automatically, the second statement becomes right in both the circumstances. Let's look at the first statement. Together, IBRD and IFC form the World Bank. No, it's not the IBRD and the IFC which form the World Bank. It's the IBRD and the IDA, or the International Development Association, that forms the World Bank, or the IDA. Now we have to look at it. I believe so. In that case, let's remove the statement 1, 2. So when that is left, we are left with just option B, that is option B, which is 2 only. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. Together, IBRD and IDA form the World Bank, and the World Bank is a financial institution which is international in nature that provides loans and grants to the governments of poorer countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. It comprises of 2 institutions, the IBRD and the International Development Association, or the IDA. The World Bank itself is a component of the World Bank Group. So understand that there is something known as the World Bank Group, and under that the World Bank is just a part of it. And the World Bank is made up of 2 associations, that is the IBRD and the IDA. Please get that clear inside your when you prepare for this. Second statement, with 189 member countries, staff from more than 170 countries and offices in over 130 locations, the World Bank Group is a unique global partnership where 5 institutions working for sustainable solutions that reduce poverty and build shared prosperity in developing countries. So the second statement is right. Let's look at the third statement. The World Bank Group, not the World Bank, the World Bank Group is an extended family of 5 international organizations, and the parent organization of the World Bank, the collective name given to the first 2 listed organizations, the IBRD and the IDA. So what are the major organizations under the World Bank Group? The IBRD, the IDA we have already discussed, the International Finance Corporation, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, or MIGA, and International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, or the ICSID. India is one of the 5 founder members of IBRD, IDA, IFC and MIGA, but India is not a member of the last one, which is ICSID. So please remember that, and that is the explanation for the question number 13. Let's go for the next question. The Global Environment Facility serves as a financial mechanism for which of the following conventions? 1. Minamata Convention, 2. United Nations Convention to combat desertification, 3. Stockholm Convention. Choose the correct code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 3 only, option C 2 only, and option D all of the above. So looking at this question is based upon the subject of environment. We'll be learning about environment as part of our prelims and main syllabus, and we'll be also learning about the global environment facilities and how it serves as a financial mechanism for many conventions and agencies. Looking at this, I can say, well, by learning about that, and it's also been present in the current affairs too, that the Global Environment Facility is the financial mechanism for all 3 of them: the Minamata Convention, the UNCCD, and the Stockholm Convention. The UNCCD is the second one, that is United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So taking that into account, I'd go with option D, all of the above. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is D. The GEF serves as a financial mechanism for the following conventions, which is the Convention on Biological Diversity, the UNFCCC, or the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNCCD we already discussed, and the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, or POPs, and the Minamata Convention on Mercury. So even though the GEF is not formally linked to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer, it supports the implementation of the protocol in countries with economies in transition. So apart from all these major conventions, it also supports the Montreal Protocol. Even though it is not linked formally to it, it does support the Montreal Protocol. So that is the explanation for the Global Environment Facility. Hope you all understood it. Let's go for the next question. Question 15. The forms of oaths or affirmations for Rajya Sabha member is included in which of the following schedule? A. Second schedule, B. Third schedule, C. Fourth schedule, and the D. 10th schedule. So this is a question based upon the subject of polity, which we will be preparing for both prelims and mains. And this is one specific thing, that forms of oaths or affirmation is something we'll be reading about it as learning about the various schedules in the Indian Constitution. And while covering it, we'll be learning that it comes under the third schedule. So don't worry, even though you may not know about it, you'll be always learning it as part of your static coverage of your syllabus. And this has also been coming in the news with regards to the various forms of oaths and affirmations that have been that have to be taken by the union ministers and the other ministers too. So taking that into account, I can say that it's the option B, the third schedule is right. Let's look at the explanation in case you are not aware of it. The answer is B. The second schedule actually lists the salaries of officials holding public offices like the presidents, judges and the CAG of India. The third schedule forms of oaths and affirmations of officers for elected officials including judges, union ministers, candidates for election of parliament and members of parliament, which include both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Whereas the fourth schedule deals with the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha per state or union territory, and the 10th schedule deals with the anti-defection provisions for the members of parliament and the state members of the state legislature. So I hope you all understood what are the major schedules and what they deal with. So we'll be learning about it as part of a static portion of our prelims polity syllabus too. With this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Open Credit Enablement Network Protocol or the OCEN protocol. 1. It would democratize lending and enable small borrowers to avail funds easily. 2. It is developed by the National Payments Corporation of India or the NPCI. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2 and option D none of the above. So looking at this, I would say that the first statement seems to be right because it matches with the Open Credit Enablement Network Protocol, that is OCEN, and it would democratize lending and enable small borrowers to avail funds easily. The first statement seems to be right. But the second statement, it is developed by the NPCI or the National Payments Corporation of India. The NPCI is responsible for creating the UPA and the RuPay card, but it is not responsible for the OCEN protocol. So I'd say the first statement is right and the second statement is wrong. So with this, I'd go for the answer that option A 1 only. But who created OCEN? We'll look at the explanation. The answer is A. Statement 1 is correct because OCEN will act as a common language connecting lenders and marketplaces to utilize and create innovative financial credit products at a scale. And it will also democratize the process for millions of small businesses. The second statement is not correct because at the Global FinTech Festival of 2020, a new credit protocol infrastructure called the Open Credit Enablement Network or the OCEN was launched, which Indian Software Product Industry Roundtable or iSpirit had built. Now, iSpirit is partnering with key lenders such as the State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, IDFC First Bank, Axis Bank and Bajaj Finserv for this new credit rail. So please understand, it's not the NPCI but rather the iSpirit which has launched this new credit protocol known as the OCEN. I hope that you all understood this explanation. Let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Bru or the Riang tribe. 1. Brus or Riang community is indigenous to Northeast India and lives mostly in Tripura, Mizoram and Assam. 2. They are recognized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2 and option D none of the above. So the Bru or the Riang tribe has been there in the news consistently over the past few months. We'll be listening about that and we'll be understanding about them, and definitely the one major fact we are learning about the Bru or the Riang tribe community is that they are indigenous to Northeast India and they live mostly in Tripura, Mizoram and Assam. So taking that into account, in the second statement, they are recognized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group or the PVTG. That is also absolutely true. So I go with the answer that option C both 1 and 2 seems to be the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is correct because Brus or Riang is a community indigenous to Northeast India living mostly in Tripura, Mizoram and Assam areas. And the second statement, in Tripura, they are recognized as particularly vulnerable tribal group and are the second most populous tribe after the Tripuris. So I hope you all understood the major tribe, which is the Bru tribe and the Riang tribe, where they are located and their status as a particularly vulnerable tribal group. Hope you all understood this. With this, we'll go for the next question. Question 18. Consider the following statements about the offer for sale. 1. It is a mechanism where the promoters in a listed company sell their shares directly to the public in a transparent manner. 2. This facility is available to all companies in the share market. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2 and option D none of the above. So looking at this, it's about an economic concept known as the offer for sale. First statement, it is a mechanism where the promoters in a listed company sell their shares directly to the public in a transparent manner. Yes, that statement seems to be fair. But looking at the second statement, this facility is available to all companies in the share market. Taking that absolute keyword all into account, I would say let's remove the statement 2. When that is removed, option A and C is the option A and option D is the only one which is left. But at the same time, seeing that the first statement seems to be right, I would go with the option that option A 1 only seems to be the right answer mostly. So let's look at the explanation. The answer is A. Statement 1 is correct because an offer for sale is a mechanism where promoters in a listed company sell their shares directly to the public in a transparent manner, and it was first introduced in the market by SEBI in 2012. Through this process, promoters in public companies can sell their shares and reduce their holdings from publicly listed companies. This is a simpler way for public companies to sell shares and get capital compared to other options such as follow-on public offering or FPO. The second statement is not correct because this facility is available only for the top 200 companies in the share market, and this ranking is based on market capitalization. So understand, it's not open for all, it's open just for the top 200 companies in the share market and what is actually offered for sale. I hope you all understood this. With this, we'll go to the next question. Which of the following are correctly matched? Space mission to Mars and the country associated. 1. Tianwen-1, Japan. 2. Hope probe, UAE. 3. Perseverance, Russia. Choose the correct code. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 3 only. Option C, 2 only. And option D, all of the above. So looking at the options, that is A, B, C and D, I'd say that the statement 1, Tianwen-1 is not associated with the country of Japan, but rather it is associated with China. So removing option 1 leaves us with just two options, that is option B 3 only and option C 2 only. So it's either 2 or 3. Looking at option 3, Perseverance with Russia, it is not Russia which is dealing with Perseverance. The space mission to Mars of Perseverance is actually by NASA and the Hope probe is by UAE. So taking that into account, I would say that the option C 2 only seems to be the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. And the answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because China's Tianwen-1 or Questions to Heaven launched through the Long March rocket is its first rover mission to Mars. Statement 2 is correct because the UAE Mars mission Hope probe will be the first probe to provide a complete picture of the Martian atmosphere and its layers when it reaches the Martian red planet's orbit in 2021. Statement 3 is not correct because the Perseverance is a Mars rover manufactured by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory for use in NASA's Mars 2020 mission. Nearly identical in design to the Curiosity rover, Perseverance will carry 7 scientific instruments to study the Martian surface at Jezero crater, 23 cameras in total and 2 microphones. So that is the explanation for this. Understand, Perseverance is related to NASA, that is USA, Hope probe is for UAE and the China, and the Tianwen mission is for China. Hope you all understood this question. With this, we'll go to the next question. 20. The Chris Gopalakrishnan Committee, sometimes seen in news, is associated with which of the following? A. Corporate governance. B. Non-personal data governance framework. C. Personal data protection. D. Regulation and monitoring of NGOs. So looking at this, the Chris Gopalakrishnan Committee was present in the news recently with regards to the non-personal data governance framework. So please understand this. We'll be learning about the major committees which UPSC has asked in the previous years. We'll also be looking at the major committees which were formed recently and what was the ambit under which they worked upon. So the Chris Gopalakrishnan Committee was actually under the option B, non-personal data governance framework. We'll look at the explanation. And since it's a ABC type of question, it's going to be a bit hard for us to know the correct answer if you are not able to find any link or logic to this. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. Report by the committee of experts chaired by Infosys co-founder Chris Gopalakrishnan and includes industry, government and academic experts on non-personal data governance framework. Suggests a data sharing regulation to shift India's data's economic benefits for citizens and communities in India, as well as help the government in policy making and service delivery. Non-personal data refers to a set of anonymized data that can be used to glean patterns. It focuses on 3 types of non-personal data, that is the public non-personal data, which is owned by governments, private non-personal data owned by non-government players and derived from assets or processes privately owned, the community data, which is the raw data of a group of people that may also be collected by private players. So please understand what it means by non-personal data, and the Chris Gopalakrishnan Committee deals with the non-personal data governance framework, and the committee recommended that a data sharing regulation to be created. So that is the explanation for the Chris Gopalakrishnan Committee. Let's look at the next question. Consider the following statements about the small savings scheme or the SSS. 1. The Suganya Samriddhi account, the Kisan Vikas Patra account and the Public Provident Fund account are some of the SSS. 2. All small savings collections are credited to the National Small Savings Fund NSSF in the public account of India. 3. Investing in these schemes is highly risky as the return is attached to the market. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 1 only, option C 2 and 3 only, and option D 3 only. So there are let's take the third statement first. Investing in these schemes is highly risky as the return is attached to the market. Suganya Samriddhi account, Kisan Vikas Patra, all of these are run by the government and it's not attached to the market, but it is planned by the government itself. So taking that into account, I can say it's not highly risky, but it's one of the most secure methods to invest money actually. So taking that into account, I'll say let's remove the third statement. Once the third statement is removed, you are left with just two options, option A 1 and 2 only and option B 1 only. So automatically the first statement becomes right. Now the question is on the second statement, that is all small savings collections are credited to the National Small Savings Fund NSSF in the public account of India. So the second statement has the keyword all in them. That is the directive being present in that. So looking at the keyword directive being present, generally we will be eliminating it. But in this case, the majority of the funding, all the small savings funds are actually credited to the National Small Savings Fund, which is a part of the public account of India. So taking that into account, we will be learning about these funds as part of our preparation. So I would say the second statement is actually an exception. In this case, the all is necessary and it is the right statement. With that, I would say the answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is A. Statement 1 is correct because some of the small savings schemes that are offered by India Post are the Post Office Savings Account, National Savings Time Deposit Account, Senior Citizen Savings Scheme Account, National Savings Certificate Account, Sukanya Samriddhi Account, National Savings Recurring Deposit Account, National Savings Monthly Income Account, Public Provident Fund Account and the Kisan Vikas Patra Account. The second statement, NSSF in the public account of India has been established with effect from 1/4/1999. A new subsector has been introduced called the National Small Savings Fund in the list of major and minor heads of government accounts. All small savings collections are credited to this fund. Similarly, all withdrawals under small savings scheme by the depositors are made out of the accumulations in this fund. The balance in the fund is invested in central and state government securities. The investment pattern is per the norms decided from time to time by the government of India. The third statement is not correct because the contributions that are made towards these schemes are minimal on risk as well as safe and secure since the schemes are launched by the Indian government. The rates for small savings schemes are announced quarterly. The Shyamala Gopinath panel constituted on the small savings scheme had suggested a market linked interest system for the small savings schemes, but still it is not being implemented. So still now it is not being implemented and linked it to the market, but now it's being still linked to linked by the Indian government itself. It's determined by the Indian government itself, and hence the risk is minimal in this case. So that is the explanation for this question. With this, let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements. 1. As radio frequency identification or RFID uses radio waves to read and capture information, so it needs to be within direct line of sight of the reader to be tracked. 2. The Indian Railways is on a mission of fitting RFID tags in all the wagons by December 2022. 3. Using RFID devices will make it easier for the railways to know the exact position of all the wagons, locomotives and coaches. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only and option D all of the above. So let's take the major theme of this question, which is the RFID tag. So this has been present in news recently with regards to the sticking of the RFID stickers in the for the payment collections and the sticking it on cars or vehicles which are using the national highways, and for the tolls which can be paid through the RFID tag. So taking that into account, this has been in the news consistently for a large amount of time. And one of the major advantages of the RFID tag is while it uses radio waves to read and capture information, it does not need to be within the direct line of sight since it uses radio waves and not the visible light. So since the ability of radio waves is to be transmitted over a far distance, there is no need for a direct line of sight, and hence the first statement can be removed. Just remove the first statement, you are left with just option B 2 and 3 only. Second statement, the Indian Railways is on a mission of fitting RFID tags in all the wagons, and using RFID will make it for easier for the railways to know the exact position of all wagons, locomotives and coaches. Yes, statement 2 and 3 seem to be right, even though it has the key absolute keyword all in it. But the answer is option B 2 and 3 only, because the first statement has a very big technical blunder in that, saying that it has to be within the direct line of sight. With this, let's go for the explanation. The answer is B 2 and 3 only. Statement 1 is not correct because RFID is the use of radio waves to read and capture information stored on a tag attached to an object. A tag can be read up from up to several feet away and does not need to be within direct line of sight of the reader to be tracked. Statement 2 is correct because the Indian Railways said that it will use radio frequency identification tags or RFID tags for tracking of all wagons by 2022. A total of 23,000 wagons have been covered under the RFID project so far, and the target is to cover all wagons by December 2022. Statement 3 is correct because currently Indian Railways is maintaining such data manually, which leaves scope for errors. Using RFID devices will be easier for the railways to know the exact position of all the wagons, locomotives and coaches. That is, while the RFID tag will be fitted in the rolling stock, trackside readers will be installed at the stations and key points along the tracks to read the tag from a distance of about 2 meters and transmit the wagon identity over to a network of a central computer. In this way, each moving wagon can be identified and its movement can be tracked. So that is the explanation for this question. I hope you all understood the major implications of RFID technology and how it is being used by the Indian Railways. With this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements. 1. India has about 25% of the global uranium reserves. 2. In terms of atomic power production, achieving first criticality signifies the initiation of a controlled but sustained nuclear fission reaction. 3. The pressurized heavy water reactors, or the PWHR, uses natural uranium as a fuel and heavy water as a moderator. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 1 only, option C, 2 and 3 only, and option D, 3 only. So, looking at this, the first statement, India has about 25% of the global uranium reserves. No, India does not have such high percentage of the global uranium reserves. The first statement is wrong. So let's remove the first statement. We'll be learning about the major mineral groups and the resources present in India as part of your geography preparation. Let's remove the first statement. You are left with option C and D. That is option C 2 and 3 only, and option D 3 only. So now the third statement has automatically become right. Let's look at the second statement. In terms of atomic power production, achieving first criticality signifies the initiation of a controlled but sustained nuclear fission reaction. Yes, that is the definition for first criticality. So it's a bit of a technical thing. For those who are not aware of it, please take the opportunity to know what is the first criticality. But even if you are aware about it, just know that first criticality signifies the initiation of a controlled but sustainable nuclear fission reaction, and that is the major thing while looking towards atomic power production. So the second statement is right. The third statement is automatically right. So let's take the option C as the correct answer and look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is correct. 1 is not correct because India has only 2% of the global uranium reserves, but 25% of the world's thorium reserves. The statement 2 is correct because the third unit of the Kakrapar Atomic Power Project, or the KAPP3 in Gujarat, achieved its first criticality, which signifies the initiation of a controlled but sustained nuclear fission reaction. The third statement is correct because the three stages of India nuclear program are natural uranium fueled pressurized heavy water reactors, or the PWHR, uses natural uranium as fuel and the heavy water as a moderator. The others are fast breeder reactors utilizing plutonium based fuel and advanced nuclear power systems for the utilization of thorium. So these are the major stages of the India nuclear program. That is the explanation for this question. I hope you all understood this. With this, let's go for the next question. Question 24. In context of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, or Shanghai Pact, consider the following statements. 1. It is a Eurasian political, economic and security alliance. 2. India, China, Pakistan and Russia among others were its founder members. 3. RATS, a permanent organ of the SCO, serves to promote cooperation of member states against terrorism, separatism and extremism. Choose the correct code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 only, option C 1 and 3 only, and option D 3 only. So this question talks about the major organization known as the SCO, or the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So the first statement, it is a Eurasian political, economic and security alliance. Yes, that is true. But the second statement, India, China, Pakistan and Russia among others were its founder members. India and Pakistan were not a founder member of the SCO. So let's remove statement 2. When you remove statement 2, you are left with just one option, because the first statement is right and the second statement is wrong. So option A and option B gets eliminated. Among option C and D, the one is available just in option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Automatically, the third statement is also right, that RATS, a permanent organ of the SCO, serves to promote cooperation of member states against terrorism, separatism and extremism. So SCO is a very important international body. We'll be learning about it as part of our international relations syllabus for the mains and prelims examination. This has also been present in the news as part of our current affairs preparation too. So let's look at the explanation. The answer is C, 1 and 3 only. Statement 1 is correct because the SCO, or the Shanghai Pact, is a Eurasian political, economic and security alliance. Statement 2 is not correct because the creation of SCO was announced on 15th of June 2001 in Shanghai, China by the leaders of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan, and also Uzbekistan. India and Pakistan joined SCO as full-time members on 9th of June 2017 at a summit in Astana, Kazakhstan. For the third statement, the Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, or RATS, headquartered in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, is a permanent organ of the SCO, which serves to promote cooperation of member states against the three evils of terrorism, separatism and extremism. The head of RATS is elected to a 3-year term. Each member state also sends a permanent representative to RATS. So that is the explanation for this. The answer is C. I hope you all understood about SCO. Let's go for the next question. In context of seaweed, Consider the following statements. 1. Seaweeds are a rich source of vitamins and minerals but are unfit for human consumption. 2. They are used for the production of phytochemicals like agar, carrageenan and alginate. Choose the correct code. Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2 and option D none of the above. So looking at this, seaweed are rich source of vitamins and minerals is true, but the second part of the first statement, that but they are unfit for human consumption, is wrong, because seaweed is being consumed across many parts of the world as a delicacy and also as a part of regular food, especially among the fishermen communities. So the first statement is wrong. For the second statement, they are used for the production of phytochemicals like agar, carrageenan and alginate. Yes, they are used for creation of production of phytochemicals like agar, carrageenan and alginate. Taking that into account, I'd say that the option B 2 only seems to be the right answer in this context. Even if you are not aware about it, let's go for the explanation and learn about this. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. Statement 1 is not correct because seaweeds are rich in vitamins and minerals and are consumed as food in various parts of the world. The second statement is correct because they are used for the production of phytochemicals like agar, carrageenan and alginate, which are widely employed as gelling, stabilizing and thickening agents in several industries of food, confectionery, pharmaceutical, dairy, textile, paper, paint, etc. Seaweed or macroalgae refers to several species of macroscopic multicellular marine algae. So that is the explanation for seaweed and its applications. I hope you all understood about this. With this, we are ending this video. This is CB Joy signing off. Everybody have a nice day. Thank you.